good afternoon from Six Flags Over Texas, where today I'm here in Arlington, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and today I'm going to take you on a full park walkthrough of the original Six Flags park. Making my way around the park, going to go in a clockwise fashion. I do like their entrance over here. They have made some improvements and some modernization, and then I love the big entrance. You got the fountain, you got the planters, which are looking good, and right ahead you got a carousel, a very classic theme park staple. You can meet Sylvester the cat. There's roller coasters in the background. If you need a locker, they're right there. If you need a stroller or wheelchair, they're right here. If you need a gift shop, well, there's a gift shop. I believe this is a newer gift shop or a remodeled gift shop. Dead ahead, you can see the new Texas Giant. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Some loud pop music, so I might have to voice over segments if YouTube sends me an old nasty gram. But yeah, I like this park. I've been coming here for probably about over 10 years. I've been coming to this park, and tend to be out here about once a year or so. Oh, gotta watch out for the EMTs. There's a bunch of different themed areas in Six Flags Over Texas, and once we leave that entrance area, we are now in the Mexican section of the park. So come over here and get nachos for $17. Yeah, food and beverage prices are very high at this park. Lovely little gazebo. You do get to our first ride in the park, El Sombrero. Now there's very modern rides here at Six Flags Over Texas, but I believe this park is like over 50 years old or somewhere around there. So you also get some classics like El Sombrero. This ride's probably been here for a very long time. Now the Mexico section is not one of the bigger ones in the park. You do also have a nice bar over here where you can get yourself a beer or a cocktail for Six Flags pricing. And one of the first of many gift shops that will sell you a poop hat. It's only 88 degrees here in Arlington today. Everyone needs a poop hat made of wool or whatever it is. And there is another restaurant here to my left. You do get the second ride, La Fiesta de las Tazas, which is your classic teacup style ride. And then normally, if you've been to this park before, you would know that right in front of me would be the entrance to the Spain section of the park. Well, Spain is pretty much all closed right now. That entire country is closed. If you've been here before, La Vibora, which was their bobsled style roller coaster, as well as El Diablo, which was their looping flat ride, those are both closed. You can see Titan off in the distance, the park's biggest roller coaster, and right in front of it right here, that is tracked for next year's ride, a ride that is already well under construction. It's going to be a world record breaking dive coaster. That is going to be pretty cool. It's definitely going to be one of the best rides in the park. I believe based on the permits, people believe it's going to be around 309 feet tall. So that is going to be absolutely wonderful when that does open. And that is opening in 2026. You know, always a bummer when you lose a ride, especially something like La Vibora, where there's not a ton of that style of ride in the country. But, you know, sometimes old rides have to go for new rides to come on in. Now, I believe we have moved on from the Mexican section of the park to the next section of the park, which I'm not sure. It's probably Texas. There are like a couple different versions of Texas. Like there's a Texas. I think there's a Boomtown and a Tower section. But this one does have kind of that classic Texas Wild West theme. It is nice to see that the park does have a bunch of these misters around because it does get very hot here. I may have to take some breaks at some point. Warning, outlaws regularly spotted in this area. 12:30, 2:30, 4, and 5:30. I'm a little early for the outlaws. I do like the Six Flags because I feel like it's got more character than some of them. Some of them it's just like DC characters everywhere and lots of, you know, standard looking stuff. Here you got some cool buildings. I believe in this stage here they do like kind of like a Wild West stunt show at different times. I don't think one is running today, but that is always a good time. Let's see, I just passed a street taco stand. You got a Cinnabon booth. You've got the Plum Sugar Shack. And if you couldn't guess from this planter here, we're coming up on the park's log flume ride in just a moment. Really like this planter too, with like the blue chips. That looks really, really good. Now I will say, when I'm doing this park walkthrough, this is not the easiest park to walk through from one end to the other, because there are like a lot of different pathways. And I was gonna go left, but I'm gonna just go right for a second, because look, it's the cow spinning ride. That makes sense for an area of the park themed to Texas. There's a big ride all about cows. And also over here on the left, that's just a horse. It's a live horse. A very peaceful live horse. Cow ride's a lot of fun though. Oh, you know, I'm gonna go this way just a little bit more, because you got next to the cow ride, one of the best photo ops here at Six Flags over Texas. And if you do look above the cow ride, you can see the oil derrick, which is the park's observation tower. You can take an elevator up there. Ah, look at the cows go. Yeah, but over here on the right, you get your picture in that giant chair. All right, I'm gonna go back towards that log flume planter. And we are back. Gonna hang out over here on the left side, where you can see the entrance to two different attractions. Now, one is called Casa Magnetica, which I'm not sure if it operates anymore. It was kind of like an old-timey fun house where, like, oh, look at that, the balls and the water rolls uphill as you're in like a big slanty room. I've been to this park, you know, the last 3 or 4 years, pretty much every year, and I've never seen that operate. Next to that is El Aserrado, which is a very important ride here at Six Flags Over Texas. That is their log flume ride. But it's not any log flume ride. It's actually the world's first log flume ride. They have a couple different, you know, kind of historical rides here at Six Flags Over Texas. And that, I feel like, might be the most historical. You can see the log flume over there on the left. See if we get one going down the drop. Kind of got a tree blocking the view here. Six Flags had kind of, I believe there were, at one point, there were 2 different flumes on this log flume ride. A couple years ago, Six Flags came out with a plan. They're going to combine the two and make like the world's largest flume ride. And then that got canceled a few years later. But there we go. There's also a nice river that kind of runs through the middle of the park. You can see like some turtles and some fish, so be on the lookout for that as you wander around. Now there's going to be a cutoff over here on the left, and that'll be the quickest way to get to either the picnic pavilions or Titan and a scrambler. I'm going to go straight ahead for just a minute, and you can look right in front of us. That is the new Texas Giant, which is the park's best roller coaster. Easily, I think for me, their best roller coaster. It was built in the early 90s, got redid in the late 2000s, and it now has a steel track. The first ever RMC roller coaster, if you're a big roller coaster fan, you would know what they do. They put a steel track on old wood coasters, make them a lot crazier. Now you can also get to Titan and the Scrambler going down that way. I'm not going to take you down that pathway because it'll be a long walk for pretty much nothing. That is one of the 2 entrances to the park's train ride. Now, unfortunately, the park's train ride is closed at the moment, but it's closed for good reasons, as the track goes through where they're building the new for 2026 roller coaster. If you wanted to go on the new Texas Giant, the entrance would be right here. And that's quite the entrance. That's a great sign. And then just next to that, you got the entrance to the Dino Off-Road Adventure, which is an interesting ride. It is the park's, their classic antique autos ride that's been here for a while. But a couple years ago, they took the antique autos and they just put a whole bunch of dinosaurs around the track. And if it's up to me, animatronic dinosaurs make every ride better, and this one is just like any of them. Like, it's so much better with the dinosaurs on it. And now you get one of the rides that might be the most Texas ride out of anything here at Six Flags Over Texas. This kid's ride's called Boot Scootin'. You ride in a boot and you bounce around a cowboy hat. It does not get much more Texas than that, except for maybe one other ride. Now it does look like we have hit a dead end, so I'm going to meet you back on that other pathway. So I backed it up to this point so you can see the train station there, New Texas Giant here, and I'm going to take this pathway over here to the right, which I believe is kind of one of the quieter pathways here at Six Flags Over Texas. It is not the easiest layout, so if you are walking around and you get confused, you know, you definitely will need that map that is on the website. But look at this. You get a little waterfall, a little covered bridge, Great view of the oil derrick observation tower. Another one of these misters. Great to have in the parks. Not great for when you're filming like a YouTube video trying to walk around the park and show off everything it has to offer. Yeah, you can see some fish down there. Going by over here, you can see those antique autos with the dinosaur theme. Alrighty, coming off of this pathway here, straight in front of us, actually one of my favorite rides in the park. If you never watched one of my videos before, I'm a huge fan of dark rides. So like slow-moving rides that take you indoors and through a theme. And this one's called Pirates of Spelunker Cave. And the cows are right there. Barbecue restaurant is right here. And Pirates of Spelunker Cave is right in front of us. Yeah, this ride's awesome. It's actually a relatively new ride in the park. I think probably 3 or 4 years old. This building has been home to many, many dark rides throughout the history of Six Flags Over Texas. I believe for a while it was a Spelunker Cave dark ride. Then it was Yosemite Sam's Gold Rush Adventure with the Looney Tunes characters. And now it is this one. And it's a bit of a weird ride. It's kind of like half Pirates of the Caribbean, half wacky cave creatures. I also like this shot in the park where you get the big giant dinosaur, and then right behind the big giant dinosaur, big giant roller coaster. See the New Texas Giant go down the first drop there. Yeah, so kind of think of half budgety Pirates of the Caribbean, half weird alien type creatures. I'm cutting through this gazebo real quick. And those alien type creatures, cave creatures, I am not sure exactly what a spelunker is, but a spelunker looks like that. They also have a lot of these kind of like Instagrammable murals for you to take your picture next to. Carnosaurus, not our dino. Big midway game right here where you get to show off your soccer skills. A couple of the big towers, the oil derrick and the Superman Tower of Power. I definitely think it helps that they brought these dinosaurs into this ride. I would assume the ride is more popular, and I just like it way better. Now, one thing I don't love here at Six Flags Over Texas, I believe the entire park is asphalt. And when it gets hot here, and it gets very hot here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, they kind of like, it radiates the heat. So get ready to sweat if you're coming here in the summer. Some theming for the Dino Off-Road Adventure. It's kind of fun. So on the other side, when you're on the ride, instead of saying Dino Off-Road Adventure, it says Dino Island, which I believe was an old simulator ride, which they now is where the Justice League is. Oh, that's wonderful. Look at the sign for Texas Gifts. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And you can't have an animatronic dinosaur area without an animatronic Tyrannosaurus Rex. And there's the one here at Over Texas. Continuing along the trail here. I would assume I'm in the tower section of the park because I'm right next to the big giant observation tower. Plenty of different places to eat around the park. Over here on the right is Chop 6. Just a heads up, food does get very expensive here. If you want one entree and one side, it is $17. 2 entrees and one side, it is $19. Gotta say, this booth's pretty adorable. Look at the original Pineapple Man. And right here, if you want to go up the observation tower, take an elevator up, then you get to walk around, take some photos. You get in line right over here. On the right, you can win a Pokemon. More dinosaurs along with that green coaster there. That is Shockwave. Shockwave is one of those classic roller coasters here at Six Flags Over Texas. Opened back in, I believe, 1978. And it's a really good ride. Shockwave, a ride I like a lot. Definitely a classic. You actually get some pretty good airtime, which you don't tend to get on those roller coasters. Now, if you want to go ride Shockwave, you would take a left right here. That is kind of another dead end. This park does have its fair share of dead ends. So I'm not going to walk that way. There's also go-karts back there, and go-karts are an extra pay attraction. Looks like they must have had a water leak of something. One thing you also find here, there's plenty of midway games. Lots of different sections of the park have tons and tons and tons of midway games. Now, as you expect, it is a good, on the day I'm recording this, it is 88 degrees outside, feels like 93, and they have 3 different water rides here. We're coming up on the second one now, and that is Roaring Rapids. First of all, top-notch sign here on the Roaring Rapids. Look at that. Rockwork, waterfalls, that looks great. This is your big family raft ride. You can put about 12 people in a raft and then go on a potentially soaking adventure. Over here on the left, I don't think this is really used anymore for most of the regular season. This is where they used to have their Batman stunt show. I was here a couple years ago for their Haunt event, the Fright Fest event, and they had like 2 different haunted houses in there. You want chicken and waffles? $18.49. If you don't have the dining pass, I would say try to avoid eating at Six Flags, only because it's expensive, and I haven't eaten here today, but when I've had food in the past, it is kind of a, questionable quality. Another midway game where you can hook a duck. I do like this. The Caddo Lake Barge is the park's rocking tug style attraction, which you can see spinning around over there on the left. I always like this corner of Six Flags Over Texas. It's kind of got a swamp feel. Always a little bit more relaxed, not a lot of people here. And a nice gentle family ride like that. Next watering hole, about 200 feet. That's also fun. Alrighty, so I've had a pretty good day here. I feel like crowds today have not been too bad. I will say when it comes to crowds, some of the longest lines tend to be the rides with the lower capacities. So things like Mr. Freeze, which we'll get to in a bit, Pandemonium, and then sort of your higher value rides, the things that people really want to ride, like the new Texas Giant. On a hot day, the Aquaman Power Wave. Here's more of that waterway that I talked about before. This one I like because you can almost always see turtles in this lake. And I think I found one right here. And they have I believe these are just wild turtles. And you can see different species of them. I'm a big animal lover. So always fun to see turtles in the park. Looks like the Superman Tower of Power is about to drop down. It's the one where it'll shoot you up and blast you down. Always fun. You get kind of the same view on this tower that you do on the big red one that's covered by the trees, but that one is much, much, much more thrilling. All right, gonna take a quick break and I'll catch up over there. All right, going over there, that is the Mine Train roller coaster, the Runaway Mine Train. Just give you a heads up where we are. Just right next to the Superman ride. Did pass the Newman's Cafe, got a free cup of water, which any of the not the gift shops, any of the snack stands will give you a free cup of water. The Dive Bomber Alley, that is this upcharge attraction right here. You and your buddies get harnessed up, and then you could go flying through the sky. These are fun, these are terrifying, but they also cost extra money. And we continue now into the, I'm guessing, the next section of the park. You can actually get one section of the park here with like normal concrete before you get back to the asphalt. All right, I'm gonna cut over here to the left. This is where the park's next 2 roller coasters will load up. And it appears we are now in Boomtown, the Boomtown section of the park. One of 2 Boomtown sections of the park. Over here on the left, that's where you would enter the Runaway Mine Train. And yeah, that's the first one ever built. It is a fun ride. It's a ride that it does have some theming involved to it. Kind of got a cool ending where you go through a saloon, which for some reason the saloon explodes. And then you go through a big tunnel and underwater to finish the ride. It's another one of those rides, like I talked about how Shockwave is a classic. The Mine Train, I would say, is also a classic here. And then right next to the Mine Train, also on the left, is the Mini Mine Train. Now, both of these roller coasters are very old. They've been here a very long time. The Mini Mine Train is just a more kid-friendly version of the first one. So if you've got a little one that's kind of scared of roller coasters, maybe start with the Mini Mine Train first, or the one in Bugs Bunny World, and then move up to the Mine Train a little bit later. See the big Aquaman was going right there. Gonna dive off over here to the right 1 second because this is the Boomtown Bar, a place where I went to get a beverage earlier. It was good. It was very expensive. They had a beer for the Texas Giant roller coaster. Very tasty, easy to drink, but it was like $16.70 before tip. So yeah, it definitely a bit expensive. But also to go with that, they also have this really nice seating area, which shares another bar and all the sports on. So that is good to see. All right, we got more Midway games over here on my left. Looks like a snack stand called Dusty Dan's on my right. That guy walking with something that's very heavy looking. All right, now over here on the left might be the most Texas ride. I said it might be the boot scooting ride. Well, the Gunslinger is the other one that might be the most Texas ride. It is their traditional kind of swing ride, except it is they've got four guns in the middle. So it's just a ride that's themed to guns, which, hey, you know, that fits very well in with Texas. That blue roller coaster on the right, that is Aquaman. We'll get there in a bit. Now, if the train was running, the second entrance would be over here at the Boomtown Depot. And from the Boomtown Depot, in my opinion, the scariest ride in the entire park. That guy right there, the Texas Sky Screamer. It is the tallest ride in the park. I believe it is 400 feet tall. You hang on a little swing. Like, it's not an overly thrilling ride, but just like hanging on chains that high in the air, swinging around, definitely gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, I mean, you get a great view. Also, if you've not been to this park before, from any of the really tall rides, you get a great view of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. The park is located right next to where the Texas Rangers play baseball or the Dallas Cowboys play football. So you can see the Jerry World and all its beauty and the Ranger Stadium right next to that. Big oil derrick here. I believe when we cross over, when we cross over these tracks here, we move into Gotham City. Now, Gotham City, I've talked about dead ends in this park. Gotham City is a pair of two different dead ends. Before we get to the dead ends, we get some more modern snacks like Cheetos popcorn or soft serve ice cream served out of a fish type cone. I also like this ride here. A lot of thrill rides in Gotham City, but this one is a family-friendly ride where you just ride in a little Batman-style helicopter. It is called Batwing, and it is adorable. See the big pendulum ride going over there? We'll get there in just a bit. But once you get past the adorableness of Batwing, you get into the two big thrill roller coasters here in Gotham City, and about 1 million Midway games. If you want to play Midway games, I'm not really a Midway games kind of guy. Here in Gotham City, they have the most in the park. Doesn't lend itself to be the prettiest section, as Gotham City, I've seen pretty much every single Batman movie, and I don't remember any Midway games. But here in Six Flags Gotham City, lots and lots of Midway games. Two different roller coasters, both good roller coasters. That entrance is for one of them. That is Mr. Freeze, which is going right over here, that big blue one. A forwards and backwards shuttle coaster with a launch. It has an awesome entrance. I like Mr. Freeze a lot. Now, it doesn't put through a great amount of people per hour, so it tends to get one of the longer lines in the park. Here's, I got distracted. That sign for this game that's really cute. And then right in front of us, you got Batman the Ride. Another one of the rides that have been here for a while. And Batman the Ride is this yellow roller coaster here where you hang below the track. It is very good. Pretty intense ride as well. All right, let's go back to go down that other dead end. Now we're gonna take the right fork into Gotham City, which I believe is probably like the newest section of the park. Like this whole corner over here, I don't think was here about 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And as you can see, as we get over there, it also has a lot of modern rides to it. Not a lot of modern rides, it's got 3 rides, and they're all very modern. In my opinion, probably the park's best flat ride, so the best spinning ride is right in front of us, and that is the Riddler's Revenge, a big pendulum-style ride. So you spin and swing well over 100 feet into the air. A lot of spinning rides in this section of the park, but no, that is excellent. There is another stage over here on the right. No shows running today. I don't think there's any shows running on any of the stages today. But then when you come during different times of year, they might have shows. If you come during Christmas time, come during Halloween, maybe it's spring break, I'm not sure when they do their shows. All right, here we got some of the spinning going on. Right in front of us is the Joker roller coaster, easily the park's most nauseating roller coaster. Well, I'm gonna stop here and show you off the Catwoman's Whip, which is, well, I'm talking about nauseating. This ride, this one would indeed be nauseating. Especially now I've been walking around the park in the heat, filming this video for probably a good 30 minutes. This would not go well at the moment. It moves very, very fast, as you can tell. Oh, very fast. And we are now in another one of the dead ends of the park. So you got the Catwoman's Whip right here, the Joker free spin roller coaster straight ahead of us. If you go back further that way, there is a haunted house during Fright Fest and Fright Fest only. And this guy, this nauseating looking ride. I have done these rides before. I don't think I've ever done one this big. I've done the ones where you're kind of in a single seat. It's definitely a larger model. But yeah, they're getting up there. You can also tell the Texas sun does some damage to some of these signs and things like that. All right, I'm gonna get the Joker roller coaster going next, as I believe I see the lift chain going. Joker roller coaster, it is a little bit weird. It's known as a free spin roller coaster. I like them, I think they're really wild rides. You ride on the outside of the track, and as you go, you flip. Sometimes a lot of flips, sometimes not a lot of flips. See how these guys do. It's a, not one of the bigger roller coasters here in Over Texas. Yeah, that's a flip. I do think it's pretty fun though. It's fun, it's wild. Sit in that very dead end. And that's the whole ride. All right, and that's this corner of Gotham City. All right, so we went down the left flank of Gotham City. We went down the right flank of Gotham City. Now we're gonna head this way, back towards the front of the park. You're gonna get a couple more attractions, as well as the park's kids area. You can see one of those kids rides right in front of us, the little balloons. They've got a kids section here at Over Texas, but it's not like one of the bigger ones you find. Some parks you go to, and there's like 20 or 30 kids rides. Not really the case over here at Over Texas. All right, now if you go over here to the left, this is where you would enter the big, giant 400-foot Sky Screamer. It's also where you go to the entrance to Judge Roy's Scream, a ride that exists outside the berm of the park. It is an old-timey wooden roller coaster. It is kind of nothing too special about it. But the thing is, it's kind of over here on itself. You can't see the ride. So if you're at the park on a busy day, that one might have a shorter line. On the right with that pink track, that is the park's spinning roller coaster, known as Pandemonium. It's good fun. Those are very fun rides. You ride with 4 other people, they're little tiny cars, and how much you spin kind of depends on how your car is weighted and who is riding with you. Obviously, as you can tell, it only puts 4 people through each ride cycle. So this is another one that tends to get a little bit longer line. But it's fun. And then we get to the big water ride, one of the newest rides in the park. That's the Aquaman Power Wave, Power Splash. I don't know. You enter over there, so I can't see the sign. These rides are a blast. Okay, great. This is good timing. So it just launched out of the turnstile station. It's going up this spike, just a little bit up this spike. It's going to go and launch again, this time going forward, over the airtime hill and up the other spike. And now you get the most powerful launch. You're going to get the fastest speed. Okay, and as it goes up there, the water basin is going to fill up. So when these guys come down, here comes the Power Wave. That ride is a ton of fun. I love it. makes a ton of sense here in the Texas heat, and it's just, they're awesome rides. This is the only one like it in the United States. There are some other ones if you go overseas. I know there's one in Belgium, but yeah, those rides are fantastic. You can see the train tracks over here again. Kind of weird being at Over Texas without the train. And there on the right is the Hall of Justice, if you are familiar with old Saturday morning cartoons. That is the park's shooting dark ride. So you get a blaster, and you have to help the Justice League defeat Lex Luthor and the Joker. Another fun ride. One that's definitely seen some better days as far as maintenance-wise. Now I'm gonna catch up with you guys at the end of this trail here before we get to the rides. Continuing down that trail, we did get to the kids section, the Bugs Bunny Boomtown. You got a Tasmanian Devil themed ride. If you're ever curious what Lola Bunny would look like as the Statue of Liberty, well, this fountain has you covered. Got a spinning ride themed to Marvin the Martian. That's pretty fun. Oh, right in front of us is the park's smallest roller coaster. I believe you need a child to go on it, so if you are somebody that counts their roller coasters, I don't think you're allowed on. At least that's the last time I checked, a couple of years ago. I'll see if I can see anything when I walk by. But yeah, it's the only ride in the park, the only roller coaster in the park that I have not been on. Kind of makes sense, a nice covered seating area. So when the kids go on the rides, like this Bugs Bunny skyscraper plane thing, they can hang out and wave. Restrooms, you can see the tower pretty much from all over the park. And here's that Wile E. Coyote small kids themed roller coaster. It's Sylvester and Tweety's Pounce and Bounce. Oh, you do have Daffy Duck's Bucket Blasters. So this is another water ride. This one you just kind of spin around in a circle, but each vehicle has a water gun attached to it, and you could shoot the other boats, you could shoot anybody walking by. You could do all sorts of shenanigans you want on your bucket blaster. I think we are getting towards the end of the kids section. Again, like I mentioned, not the biggest kids area you'll find in the park. You can see some old ride vehicles over there from the park's old plane ride. I'm a big dork, so I always love when parks have something like that where they're like, oh, hey, this is what used to be here, and we're not just going to get rid of it. Hey, you can come and take your picture of it and kind of reminisce about your memories. It's also kind of a weird kids area. I feel like most kids areas have only 1 or 2 entrances. This one has 4 or 5 just because of how it is in the park. Now we are back to the front of the park, but the tour is not done yet. You can see the carousel on the left. Normally I would end the tour there, but we missed the France section of the park and a little bit of this area over here. So we're gonna head to the right as the sounds of Miley Cyrus blast overhead. Up here on the left, you'll see the biggest gift shop at the park. It's a gift shop that has also been recently redone. I have definitely been able to tell from my visit from last summer to now, they have put some money into Six Flags Over Texas, not just with the big, new, gigantic roller coaster coming next year, but little things like fixing up snack stands, fixing up the entrance, fixing up this gift shop, and that I think is really good. I think that's something you definitely want to see. Here's the main entrance to Bugs Bunny Boomtown, and a little truck ride as well as a playground. I do love Old Gusher Gertie. That is that's pretty cool. So a nice mural as well. And speaking of nice murals, there's another one over here on the left. This one really looking at some of the older rides in the park. As you can see, it was built back in 1961. So yeah, that is a pretty old amusement park. Some pretty loud copyrighted music. But yeah, another one of those cool places. That's a good one if you've been going here for a while. You want to get that family photo. Probably a good spot to do that. There's a candy shop, another gift shop, something called the All-American Cafe that looks straight out of, 1987. The entrance to Justice League as well as Aquaman would be over here. And now we're turning left to go to the final section of the park. which is the France section of the park. Now, if you're not familiar with this park's history and the name Six Flags, with this being the original Six Flags park, the park was named after the Six Flags that resided over Texas throughout the course of its history. And it opened with those 6 areas. Since then, they've really kind of diverted from the theme a little bit, and obviously at no point in time was Texas ever ruled by Gotham City, but Gotham City is now here with all of its roller coasters and spinning rides. And the France section of the park, there's not a ton to it. A little quieter. Well, I say that, and again, talking about the copyright music playing very loud. It's interesting because like part of the park does have pop music playing, and part of the park does have more instrumental or theme music that you think would make sense. There's a cannon. Now I'm not positive, but I think that might be all for the France section of the park. There's no rides. There is, honestly, I don't think there's anything in the France section anymore. But yeah, it's that one closed stand. On the right here, the Southern Palace. That is the biggest theater here, the big indoor theater at Six Flags Over Texas. When I came out 2 years ago for Fright Fest, there was a big kind of like singing, dancing circus show in there, and that was a good time. Ooh, on the left they sell crepes. All right, if that's a creperie, then we must still be in the France section of the park, I would think. And we are almost done, my friends. We are almost done. Over here on the right is Runaway Mountain, which is the park's indoor roller coaster. It is a fun ride. A very compact indoor roller coaster. It exists in this giant fake mountain here, and it's a good time. I really like Runaway Mountain. Another one though does not have great capacity, so try and get to that one early. And there we go. That'll do it for our walkthrough of Six Flags Over Texas. Here, as you can see, is the park's map. I'm going with my finger trying to trace you on where we went. We started here at the entrance. We went left through Mexico. Spain is closed. We went up this way through Texas. Took that right to go see the cows and that horse. Then we started back over here, walked past the log flume, and over towards the dinosaurs and New Texas Giant. Came back over this pathway, talked about the Pirates of Spelunker's Cave. Made our way around over here, past the river rapids. We were looking for Shockwave, it's back that way. Past Superman, past those cool turtles. And then we made our way past the mine train and into Gotham City. We went on that left flank to get to Batman. Then we started back over here, went on the right flank to get to Joker. Started back over here to walk past the Kids Rides and Judge Roy Stream, through Bugs Bunny Boomtown, up this way, hung a right, went through France, and that's where we finished up. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you got any questions about the park. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching.